Greetings, fellow Bond fans, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Some Bond Geek Talks About with me, your host, the name's Stevens, Henry Stevens. Everybody, how do you do? I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're enjoying a good Bond book, a good Bond film, a good Bond video game, a good James Bond, whatever you want and love about the James Bond franchise. Because today, everybody, we're going to talk about what was meant to be Sean Connery's last James Bond film. And I say meant to. Two more after this one, and not necessarily in that order right after as well. But we're going to talk about the fifth James Bond film, You Only Live Twice. The good, the bad, everything about it. But before we get into that, everybody, can I also just take this quick moment to ask for a bit of house cleaning. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, why not? Why not just click on the notification bell, receive future updates on videos, get them as soon as they come out, everybody. And if you are subscribed or you are watching the video, just a massive thank you from me to you for coming and supporting this channel and just hearing thoughts, and let's start a conversation about You Only Live Twice, everybody. So, let's start with my initial thoughts on You Only Live Twice. It's a bit of a mixed bag, if I'm honest. The reason I say that is because I think this film is actually really good, but I also think that's because I've known films that obviously have come out after this film, which were worse than this film, which makes this film slightly better in my opinion. But there's some great stuff in here, some not such great stuff, but overall it's an enjoyable film. But there's so much more to this film to discuss and go into, I really think so. Now, before we go into the bad and the good of this film, of course, point of this channel is for me to take you on my personal journey of James Bond, my experiences of it growing up, how it's affected me in my life, and my memories connected with things in the James Bond franchise. And You Only Live Twice absolutely has chock-a-block of memories. I have my best friend in the world. We've been friends now about 21 years. Believe it or not, we're growing up together. This is one of his favourite James Bond films, and I remember when I first met him, I explained obviously how much I liked James Bond at the time, and he had this VHS of You Only Live Twice. I remember I came over to his house. Yeah, we did a bit of PlayStation 2 gaming. That's the generation we were, guys. But, he wanted me to watch this film as well because it's one of his favourites, and I just remember us watching it together. Great memories, absolutely great memories, and I think still to this day, if we ever decide to watch a Bond film together, You Only Live Twice certainly is one of the choices that we pick. But I know this is one of his favourites. So this film, for me, it's sort of like one of those things that I connect with my great friendship of this guy of 21 years. Really, really great. So, just that little bit of history thing out of the way, I want to talk about the bad points in this film because there are a few. Mainly this. Number one is... how can I just put this? The whole fake death at the beginning of the film. It's not very good. It's actually quite annoying because it's a nice premise to start off the film, I think, in my opinion. However, it's just basically done very quickly. The intention of it was to get his enemies off his trail by everyone thinking he's dead. But that doesn't really sort of affect anything, does it? It just, there's not really much effect on that at all when it comes to this. Another thing I don't like in this film is, and I'm sort of jumping on the bandwagon of so many people here, but it's the whole Sean Connery being made to look Japanese. It looks ridiculous. It looks stupid. I don't think the makeup even lasts longer than just the one scene he has with Aki and, before they go to bed that night and before she dies. I don't think it lasts any more than that. I mean, I know I've watched the film recently, yet there's a little bit, but no, it looks dreadful. I think as soon as Bond went in the water, like, right, gone, good, let's just get back to how he's meant to look. Just forget about that. Because it is really, really stupid. It's just not believable as well, and maybe the effect was better in the old days, but it just doesn't hold up today at all, in my opinion. And on that note, everything in the, the fishing village, I find just really slows the film down. I mean, I know it's part of the book as well, and it's great atmosphere, and it's great scenery, and it's lovely to see it. I do. The sort of travel guide part of You Only Live Twice is really high, and we'll get to that later. But it does sort of slow the film down, certainly with Bond going through the wedding ceremony. As interesting as it was, just wasn't needed. And just the joke saying, we are meant to be married now. Obviously, I think a bit of a pun on the actual book itself. But you get where I'm coming at. But for me as well, it's got to be said this well. Now, I stand by and I fully believe no matter how invested he ever was in a movie, Sean Connery never gave a bad performance. And he doesn't here. He gives an absolutely amazing performance here. However, you can tell he just doesn't care. I mean, his acting is still top notch, don't get me wrong. Absolutely, you cannot fault it. But he doesn't care. And I think that's one of the problems with the movie. I think this film might have been on the same level as From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, and Thunderball if Connery did care about it. If he gave that extra effort in, I think it would be right up there. But it's just slightly under. So yeah, those are the things I'm not really a fan of the film. But outside of that, this film is so interesting in so many levels. I'm going to literally just jump right in now to, I think, one of the big trademarks of this film, which is the whole Blofeld Volcano Lair. That's just a work of art. It is an unquestionable, in my opinion, work of art. That whole set, which cost the budget of Dr. No, is just one of the most amazing things I've ever seen on screen. I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I remember playing it on multiplayer maps. I think every time we go in it's interesting. It's that, weird enough, Robert Meyer Burnett says this about verisimilitude, that believability in a film. It's just, I think, at that level of over the top, yet you can sort of imagine actually someone might, with all the resources expect to have, do this. I don't know, for me it just fits very perfectly that line. But they make so much use of it as well. The director this time isn't actually Terence Young or Guy Hamilton, it's newcomer Lewis Gilbert. And one of the things Lewis Gilbert does in his films is always have this big battle sequence at the end. And that's what's really another great that I think add to it, because you had, like, throughout the film, like, sneaking in, you know, really spying, thriller, not trying to be seen stuff within this sort of set, this whole area. Then you have the big battle sequence as well, using it as well and blowing it up, which, you know, it's actually made my heart cry a bit. No, I don't want it to go, it's so amazing. I really did love that bit. So yeah, the Volcano Lair, without shadow of doubt, is one of the highlights, in my opinion, of the movie, as well as the whole Little Nellie sequence. You know, for some of us, maybe gyrocopters are a bit maybe zany, but for me, it was like, cool. Always remember seeing it. And the whole sequence, which is, to be fair, just purely created just so you can use all the gadgets on the thing, with the Bond theme playing and just the whole thing, it's just done so well. I just love that whole thing. I can just watch the Little Nellie versus the helicopter sequence all the time, with the Bond theme just glaring and all the cool aerodynamic stuff that's being done. I just really enjoy it. I think another reason why I really enjoy it is because, unlike the bad guys, you know, Bond hasn't got like things on his side. He's literally just like here sitting in something. So, you know, you could technically just shoot him. You know, with a good sniper shot, you know, unless he evades really quickly. He's really exposed, which I always like. I think very truly in Bond films, when Bond's really at a massive disadvantage, even with gadgets, it really pays off. But that, you know, that again, that's really great. But this is again me getting very sort of filmmaker geekish. There is a whole sequence at a port where Bond's fighting some people. It's not really great, but there's this amazing aerial shot, literally just this long shot of Bond running on a rooftop, you know, beating up bad guys and running around trying to escape. I don't know what it is, but I think it's one of the most beautiful shots of the film. I love that shot to death. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And it's just, again, another highlight of the movie for me. But let's also now just, you know, I've talked about that stuff. I really want to discuss the travel guide of it, because I said this film is basically, for all intents and purposes, just set in Japan. And Japan looks amazing. You know, I think, again, going back to my friend, his love of Japan started in this film as well. The Japan looks beautiful, right from the bustling cities all the way to its countryside and its architecture and its culture. It's all crammed in here and shown so beautifully and to its finest. It's just, this is the perfect example when I say to people, when you have that travel lodge, travel guide side of Bond, where it really shows off the area he's being in the most beautiful way possible. It just does it in spades, this film. If you don't want to, you know, I want to visit Japan in the 1960s, because I really love the look of this. It's just so beautifully done, so absolutely incredibly done. I think Japan has been one of the best locations ever in a James Bond film, thanks to You Only Live Twice, without shout out. You know, the again, I talked about, you know, the ninja training school, you know, with a bit of samurai sword as well. It's just beautiful. It just boggles the mind of how amazing it is. I mean, visually stunning. You Only Live Twice certainly is right up there. And I also love the story about this film. And, you know, the screenplay was by Roald Dahl, one of my favourite authors. Certainly growing up, I was a kid who read most Roald Dahl books. And his styles, are in there, and it's really cool to see as well. That's really, really great. I love the story. And enough, minus the whole fishing village, the pacing of this film is really good. Has a right mixture of intrigue, a bit of action, a bit of time when it's sort of, tension building, a bit of relaxation time, action, mixes things up. The plot moves very, very well in this film as well. I really enjoy that as well here, very much in this film. So there's, there's just really great stuff in this movie. It's just annoying that there's those little things bring it down. But let's talk about the cast and stuff, because the cast is a real mixed bag as well. Let's start with the regulars. As I've mentioned with Sean Connery, this was meant to be his last film. He wasn't very happy doing this film. It's not his best performance as James Bond. It's still a quality performance. As I said, he has never, ever given a bad performance. Rest in peace, good sir. But you can tell this one, I have to say, of all the Bond films he's ever done, including ones he'll do a bit later, I can tell this is probably his weakest performance. Still great, but not the best. The MI6 regulars, Bernard Lee is always terrific as always. Lois Waxwell has some nice little scenes in this I really, really do enjoy. Q, weird enough, being sent out in the field way before Ben Wishaw's Q was done is actually a bit of fun, I have to say. Again, they did it the same with Thunderball. When Q's out of his lab, you can tell he's like, no, want to be in my lab, That's really good. Tiger Tanaka, the head of Japanese intelligence. This is Karen Bay, awesome. Partner character level stuff. I love Tiger Tanaka. Really elevates the film. I mean, weird enough, you could have said, maybe he had fixed eye, but no, Tiger Tanaka is definitely one of the best Bond ally characters. So interesting, and I love the character so much. With all his, how Bond meets him, the relationship and friendship that they really brew together, and the sort of, it's just beautiful to watch. I love it. I'm going to say it against the Ben Kingsley line. It's movie magic, love. That's really, really great as well. When it comes to Bond girls, I'm not going to attempt the names of these very talented actresses, just purely because I don't want to obsess anybody, and I don't want to be looked like I have egg in my face. But overall, I'm going to say these are a real mixed bag of Bond girls. Not particularly great characters, but again, carries on with the thing I keep saying, that Bond women are not just dumb bimbos who are always trying to sleep with Bond. You've got a Japanese spy character who's really, really good character. I think the best Bond girl in the series, the character of Aki. I'm not going to say the actress name, obviously. Then you've got the second Japanese Bond girl who really is, honestly, I'm going to say it's not needed for the film, but it's in there just because. And then you've got, obviously, you've got the Spectre agent Helga Brandt, who meets that awful end at the Piranha Fish. By the way, great Ken Adams set as well to accompany the Volcano Lair. Absolutely wonderful. I have to say, again, just unused, not really used characters, sort of trying to go in the vein again of Finola Volpe, just not as good. I have to say, a lot of things were carried over from Thunderball into this film, just not done as good. I could say the similar with what happened with Skyfall and Spectre, maybe. But, yes, I have not forgotten everybody. Donald Pleasance as Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Oh my god, what an amazing performance. One might even say the definitive performance of Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Not quite for me, but I love him as Ernst Stavro Blofeld. He is the right level of menacing, intelligent, intriguing, calm and collective, but so unnerving. I think, weird enough, Rami Malek said he wants Safin to be really unnerving. I think it's going to be a lot similar to what Donald Pleasance has done here in You Only Live Twice. Just absolutely brilliant. I love Donald Pleasance as Blofeld. He's just so intriguing. I think, again, elevates the film again in so many ways. But everybody, just again, I want to talk so much about the lovely title sequence in this film. The title sequence is just absolutely beautiful. Again, it has a wonderful song by Nancy Sinatra I absolutely love. This is certainly one of my favourites. And with that as well, the whole soundtrack of the film, with its oriental mix with the Bond theme and other things as well. John Barry just flying aces high in this film. Absolutely terrific work. Everybody, You Only Live Twice is a great Bond movie. I don't think it's like on the upper echelon of the ultimate greats, but it's certainly just at the tier below. I love You Only Live Twice. It has a lot of problems. Should this have been probably Sean Connery's last Bond film? Yes, it probably should have been, but that's history, and we'll get to his other films later down the line. But I would firmly recommend You Only Live Twice, purely just for the spectacle, purely just for the great music, for everything else in it. It's just got some annoying things in it that just don't really work. But I want to know, everybody, what's your thoughts on You Only Live Twice? Comment down below and tell what you think about all this. As always, everybody, my name's Henry Stevens, and this has been some Bond Geek Talks About. Goodbye.